Hey y'all, Tim the Towman here, and I'm back as promised. First of all, I'd like to give a big shout out to everybody that watched my first introduction video. Thank you very much for watching that. And an even bigger shout out to all the people that actually subscribed to my channel. That was a big shocker to me. But as you can see in the background, yes, here in Indiana, it is snowing right now. We've got several inches on the ground and expecting several more today. But as promised, oh, gotta watch my head. As promised, in this video, I'm going to do a complete breakdown of Creature, starting from the very beginning when I got it, and go through all the modifications that I have done to this truck to make it the beastie beast that it is. And I'm calling it the world's baddest off-road wrecker. And to do this, I'm going in the garage. I'm not going to do it out in the cold. Well, one day, I was sitting in my room and just scrolling through YouTube, and then I come across this guy that was building an off-road wrecker. And I thought to myself, man, I would love to have my own off-road wrecker for here at Redbird. So then I started scrolling through Facebook Marketplace. I looked at Chevys, I looked at Fords, I looked at Dodges, and then one day I come across this post for a 1976 Jeep J20, and I'm like, what better vehicle to go out and rescue Jeeps than an actual other Jeep? So I contacted the guy and we made an agreement on a meeting time. And so the next morning when I was going to work, I stopped at the Southside gas station in Linton, Indiana, and I sat down. I seen a buddy of mine and started talking to him. I looked at him and said, hey, I'm gonna go check his truck out later tonight. And I showed him the picture of the Facebook post. And he looked at me and he's like, well, that's in my backyard. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, that used to be my dad's truck. So I guess it was fate. So later that evening, I went over and met with the guy that was selling the truck. We negotiated a price, and then the truck was mine. I bought this 76 J20 that you see here now. So I put it on my trailer and brought it home, and then took a few pictures of it, as you will see here. And the truck wasn't really in that bad a shape. The cab was good, the frame was good, the drivetrain was good, but the bed was severely rusted. So the first thing I had to do is rip the bed off. It was severely rusted, so it had to go. And then once I got the bed off, I pulled the truck inside the shop, and I had to take the axles out. I took the Dana 60 out of the rear, the Dana 44 out of the front, and I sent them off to have them re-geared. At that time, I had no experience in re-gearing an axle. I did not trust myself to do it and get it done right. So I sent it off to some other people to be able to do that. Once I got the axles back, I got them under the frame, ordered tires for it, to which I am running Interco TSL Super Swampers 34-inch by 9.5. I went with the skinnies, so that way I could run dualies on my rear axle. And in a little bit, I'll show you how I did that. So that was the creation of Creature. That was the very beginning, and everything I've done to it since then has just been all for the best. So let's get into it, and I'll start from the front and go to the rear and show you everything I have done to this truck. So the first thing that I was doing is I was at a scrapyard one day, and I asked a guy, do you have a really heavy duty front bumper for any kind of a pickup truck? And this guy looked at me and goes, as a matter of fact, yes, I do. So he took me out there and he showed me this front bumper, which is really heavy duty. Got pipe runs around the side, comes around the front, and comes all the way to this side with the really heavy duty front bumper. Then I went to the scrapyard and found some diamond plate put on there. Now these hooks are only for when I have the winch pulled out and I need to hurry up and get out of there. I can wrap the winch line around the hooks to be able to get out. And yes, as you can see, I've got a Badlands Apex 12,000 pound winch up here in front. And I have a disconnect solely for this winch. Now my pull points in front are a 2-inch receiver with these hooks out here on the end to be able to pull, double snatch, or whatever I want. And as you can see, yes, they are solidly mounted. They got 1-inch bolts in there. These plates here are bolted and welded to the frame. The winch mount is bolted to the front cross member going across, and then they are welded to the 2 frame mounts. Now for the front of the truck, I was looking at it one day, and then I thought, hey, I got a mid-70s Jeep Grille sitting up there in the attic, and I'm like, man, that would look cool to have 4 headlights. So I cut everything up and I put 4 headlights in there. Then I found these headlights on Amazon that are red, and I'm like, man, that would look cool. And yes, they do. They look cool. Then I actually got the turn signals here and over there. I got them wired in and working from a buddy of mine that actually had the extra parts that I needed to get all these lights working. So this is pretty much the front of my truck. Then I also put in LED lights in the front bumper to where I'd be able to see at night for night recoveries. And so yes, this is the front of my truck and how I did it. I kept in the original J20 grill, incorporated it into the mid-70s Jeep grill. Then I put a big fan behind that to help keep this 454 cooled, because everybody knows a 454 runs hot. So yep, this is the front of my truck. It is different and I love it. Now when I bought this truck had an AMC 360 engine in it with a automatic transmission and a Borg-Warner 1339 transfer case. The transfer case I never really did like because it was unreliable about putting into four-wheel drive, so I decided to change all that. And then in 2024, I was going to take this truck and going to go out to the off-road games in Sand Hollow, Utah. Well, unfortunately, a week before that, the engine developed a really bad oil leak around the rear main seal. So I pulled the oil pan, replaced the rear main seal, never could get it fixed, and I was frustrated with it, and I decided that's it. So I went out and I bought a 454 Chevrolet engine for it. And as you can see, it fits really well into this truck. The only thing I had to do was drop the engine mounts down about 3-4 inches so it could clear the brake booster and the heater box over here. I did all that, got that all put in. I put a brand new brake booster, brand new master cylinder, and then over here I definitely had to add a air horn. And then I was watching YouTube one day and I noticed that Bleepin' Jeep told me about a VO switch. And I really liked what he said about it, so I bought a VO switch. And here's the brain box for the VO switch. The control panel is inside the cab. I'll show that to you here in a little bit. But yeah, this is my 454 Chevrolet 1995 engine that I put in here. I put a 4-core radiator with dual fans on the back of it, but it didn't quite keep it cool enough, so I added the other fan on the inside. And to help keep the engine even cooler, I put in hood vents. The hood vents lets a lot of heat escape from this engine, and it keeps it pretty cool. It runs about 210, 215 most of the time. So this is the underneath side of my hood and where the power plant is at. I also got right here, I got a power connection coming from the batteries up to here, and that's what runs everything up here. It goes down to the starter, comes out to the front winch, and just runs all the power underneath side this hood. And I think the 454 fits in here pretty darn good for what I had to work with. So let's continue on. Now, after I ripped the bed off of this thing, I started searching for a flatbed. Well, unfortunately, I found a flatbed that had wheel well humps in it. I'll show some pictures here. So I cut the wheel well humps off of it and cut the entire bed off of it because it was really thin metal. And I'd rather have something a little bit thicker in there. So I went to my junkyard and got some thicker diamond plate, and I replaced the entire bed of it to make it good and flat. I got it good and flat, then I started adding everything else to it. I added my side winches here, Apex 12,000 pound winches on the sides. And another thing I did is I moved the rear axle up 13 inches. And I also moved the springs underneath the frame to allow me to run dualies. So I got the front mounts here, and then I added the rear mounts back here. Sorry it's so muddy. Creature is a work truck. It's not a pavement princess. It actually goes out and works in the mud. So coming around to the back side of it, then I went out and found a Holmes 1100 wrecker boom from a Ford. I slid that onto the deck that I put in, and I've got everything mounted up good and solid. And yes, this is my boom. Now to power my boom, I found a Maxon hydraulic system for a semi-trailer that has a lift gate. So this runs my boom. It will go up, down. It has 2 pumps in it. Here's my Maxon controller for the back. I'll show that to you here in a little bit, how it all works. But I got everything back here. I also have this massive roll bar that I got from my son. He brought it down here from when he moved here from Indianapolis. So I incorporated all that into my truck. And then the main winch for the boom is another Apex 12,000 pound. I fixed all that in, took the hydraulic winch out of it, fixed it all up, incorporated this Apex 12,000 pound winch on it. In this box, a ammo box from the military for tile armor, is where I store a lot of my recovery gear. Then back here in the back, I added some Harbor Freight lights so I could see out the back at nighttime on night recoveries. Now my sling back here, I didn't like the way it was made. It had this little short bar right here, and it was a round bar. I didn't like the way that was designed, and it was not wide enough. What I did is I got me a piece of 2-inch square tubing, refabricated all the mount for the sling. Then I got the grease hitch that goes on your truck, sliding them on to where they are adjustable. I can put them all the way in here, or I can have them all the way out here. On the ends, I got chain hooks to where I can hook my chains to. Then I got a lifting link, and then that goes up to my adjustable chain hook, to which I'm going to modify this a little bit more. And then if I want to get rid of the chain, I come down here. Yeah, it's kind of locked. Come down here to this lifting link, and I can stow this all the way up, and it's good and solid. Now on the back of the truck, I have got my pull points, along with some newer Jeep tail lights. They work great, I love them. But my pull points here, and another one over there, as you can see, I have them bolted through the back metal. They are also welded to the back metal. But I want to show you on the inside here. Sorry. As you can see here, I took a piece of 2x3 angle iron, put 3 gussets in it, and then bolted one on the inside and one on the outside of the frame. Then I welded it all to the frame, the back piece, everything. And the bolts coming from the outside under here also help secure it. So these pull points are very secure. Sorry about my welding. I am not a welder. I don't do very good on welding. And then, yes, here is Yosemite Sam. He is my buddy. He keeps an eye on my back everywhere I go. Then I do have my rear Apex 12,000 pound winch back here. So the whole back side of the truck is all set, good to go. Now coming on around to this side, this is my power box. My power box has got lights in it, air compressor, and it's also got a power inverter. I got extension cord in here. I got my air reel, and this is where I keep a lot of my other stuff. There's my Milwaukee battery charger. I keep my winch controllers down in here, some extra fluid. It's a good little box to have. The only problem is it sticks out and trees and other stuff hit it. One other thing I want to point out real quick. On my hydraulic system, you see this electrical connector here. I am going to have to build some kind of bracket to go up here to keep that protected from tree limbs, stumps, rocks, dirt, whatever, hitting that and then ripping that off. That would kill my entire hydraulic system, and that I do not want. So now let me climb up in the back of the truck and show you what all I got up there. Now here in the back of the truck, this pull point here is not a pull point. That is a removable. This is not very strong, so I use that to maybe pull out an extra trailer or get a second hitch point in or something. But let's climb in the back. I gotta use a step ladder because I'm too short to do this. But up here in the back, first thing is I have a Baddest off-road jack. Got it mounted right here. Stays good and secure, out of the way. The only thing is, to get it out, I gotta raise the boom up. Next thing in the back, for that one hitch that's removable, I got me a bench vise that I can put in there to do any type of work out there on the trails. Continuing on, this little blue cap here, that is my fuel tank filler neck. That's where I put in all my fuel. I'll get underneath and show you the fuel tank here in a little bit. But to continue on my side winches, I didn't want the control box mounted to the bottom side of the winch to collect mud, rain, dirt, all that stuff. I actually mounted the side winch control box on the inside of the bed. There's one for the right side. Here's the one for the left side. And as you can see, I am running 4 batteries. These 2 are the primary batteries for the vehicle. They're on all the time. The 2 over here, I've got on a disconnect switch to where I only turn them on if I need them. If I use the winch too much and run the batteries down and the truck won't start, I turn these 2 batteries on, I can get the truck started and go. And as I said, here is my heavy duty roll bar. And yes, there is my saying. If you get stuck, broke, or screwed out in the woods, give me a call. I pull out. Now this is my vent for my fuel tank. I wanted it way up here, keep it out of the mud and stuff. On the other side of the roll bar, you see another vent. That vent is for the front axle, rear axle, transmission, and transfer case. Got all them incorporated all into one. I also keep a 5-gallon fuel can up here filled with gas because I'm prone to forgetting to check my fuel, which, let me show you my fuel gauge real quick. This is my fuel gauge. Yeah, it's not electronics, but it does its job. Bottom mark is half, 3/4, and full. Yes, I've run out of gas out there on the trails. It's embarrassing, but it happens. Then inside here, I keep my fuel neck for my gas can inside here, and I keep a couple of funnels because you never know what you're going to run into out there. This antenna is my antenna for my GM RS radio system I put in this truck just recently. And over here mounted to my ammo box, this white box, is a first aid kit. I carry that just in case, because you never know. But this is the Back into my truck, yeah, there's leaves in it because it sits outside and trees shed in the winter, in the fall and winter time. And this is back into my truck. Now let's take a look inside the cab of the truck. First thing you're going to see and notice is my seats. These are actually out of a Jeep Cherokee that I had spares just sitting here laying around. But here pretty soon, those will be replaced with these babies. I picked these things up buying a storage unit, and I'm going to get them put in there here real soon. So back to the cab. Let me jump up here, swing my leg, pull myself in, and we're in here. So here in the cab, you can see here on my dash, I don't have a speedometer. I'm going real slow. Who really needs one? The only thing I need is oil pressure, water temperature, and voltage. And then, like I said just a minute ago, I just recently put in a brand new GMRS radio system in here, which a lot of off-roading events require this if you want to participate. Put the knob up, the mic up here in the ceiling. Ripped out the dash. I'm going to eventually rip out this side of the dash too, because look how thick that dash was from here to here. Just taking up a lot of space that I could use that for other things. My steering wheel here, it is a tilt. And I got that out of a J10 Jeep truck. And I want to point out my custom made window crank and door handle. Those are primo. Gotta love them things. Now this truck, as you can see, was originally an automatic. But after a long time of working on it, I finally got my clutch in here to where I can run my manual transmission. Now going to that, my manual transmission, in another video, I said I put a Muncie 4-speed transmission in my truck. Well, yes, I did. No, it is not a car transmission. In Muncie, Indiana, they made car transmissions, they made two-wheel drive transmissions, and they made four-wheel drive transmissions for heavy-duty truck applications, to which this transmission is an SM465. And that's how I put a Muncie transmission in my truck. This handle up here, that operates my 203 doubler. High and low. And then I got my 205 twin stick back here, which most of the time I keep it just rear wheel drive unless I have to have the 4-wheel drive. And then one of my other upgrades I just recently did is these two valves right here. It's my brake lock for my front wheels and my back wheels. And if you notice, yes, those are wrenches that's holding them in. Now my brown box here, this is just for storage. Keep I got my 3 winch controllers in there. I keep stickers in there, other things, paperwork. And it's a good armrest. I need to figure out how to put cup holders in here, because I like to have my Cokes out there. And back here in the back window, check it out, I got a gun rack. An old truck is not a truck unless it's got a gun rack. Now I need to get a couple of guns to put up in there. Up here in front of me, right here, that is my Vo switch. That controls my horn. I was going to have a front locker. I'll explain that in a minute. Then I got my center headlights for high beam, low beam, my roof warning lights, my wee-woo light, front spots, rear spots. This is for the side spots, but I don't have them hooked up yet. I had this hooked up to the engine fan, my third engine fan, but it kept messing up on me, so I switched it from here and put it on where I got the rock lights. I'll fix all that up later. And when I got my roof light warnings on, this is the control box that controls all that. And here is a cool thing I did. Hang on. Thing's stuck. This is a cool thing I did with the inside of the cab. Check out my dome lights. All the way around the cab. And all these dome lights are is, I had a couple of Halloween decorations where the fan motor quit working, but the lights still work. So I pulled the lights out of the Halloween decoration and put them all the way around the inside of my cab, where I now have a decent set of cab lights, or dome lights. Let's see, that's pretty much about everything going on in the cab for right now. So, let's head on and go underneath the truck. Now we are underneath side of Creature, and I wanted to point out that because I put the 454 in here to get it to fit between the brake booster and the heater box, I had to lower the engine mounts down 2 to 3 inches so everything would fit properly. So this is how I did it. Put a piece of square type pipe in there. Got some original bolts in there for the bump stops. I got still got a power steering leak I got to address. But I did that on both sides of the engine, just so everything could fit. The red hose is my vent. And coming on back, here's my SM465 transmission. And up here, this rod here runs my 203 doubler, and it comes all the way back here. And then there are my 205 front and rear axle linkages that I've got underneath here. They're solid linkage, no cables. I did not want cables. Got my true dual exhaust ran all the way back here. Yes, I still got some welding to do. But I got them mounted to the back of the cab to keep them secure. Here's the other side. And as I told you, on my wrecker boom, I mounted this thing down solid. What I did is right there is my roll bar. So what I did is attach the 2x3 angle iron, welded it to my roll bar, and then I took 5'1¼ bolts that hold on a Caterpillar heavy equipment front axle, put some spacers in it, and that is what keeps my boom solid. Going on back, this is my fuel tank. Just big square tanks, about 17 gallons. I found that at an auction. Bought it, cut the top off of it, cleaned everything out, put an aluminum top on it, sealed it, and put it in there for my fuel tank. Here's my rear leaf springs. That's a big pack of leaf springs. But everything I got back here, all the wiring and hoses, is all tied up nice and neat. I got a couple of tri-blocks here, one for the positive and one for the ground. Runs all the batteries and all the functions on this truck. And then back here in the back, you can see my rear winch. Let me roll underneath this axle and I'll show that to you. Oh, this is going to be a tight squeeze because I'm fat. Oh, my belly's rubbing. All right, I'm through here. What I did on this is I got a piece of 8-inch C-channel, put that up there, cut me a notch out so the rope wouldn't get tangled up and cut up in it. But I welded it and bolted it to the frame to where it's good and solid. And as I said, that center hitch mount up there, it's just there. And as you can see, yes, I can't weld for crap. But it is what it is. Then here's my wiring box back here. I've got it magnetized to the rear. And you can see this side, that's my pull point mounts again. Like I said, those are really good and solid. My rear spring mounts. My welding sucks, sorry. But yeah, this is the underneath side of my truck. And the one cool thing I like about underneath here is, yes, I can actually sit on my creeper and I can do whatever work back here that I need to sitting up. That's how high this truck sits up there. So, moving on to the axles again. Okay, now, as I said in the beginning of this video, I said that when I bought the truck, it had a Dana 60 rear axle and a Dana 44 front axle. So I spent a lot of money on getting that 44 built up, put 1-ton hubs in it. It was a direct drive hub or axle, and the hubs didn't have the splines. So I bought new hubs, put lockouts on it, spent a bit of money to do that. And then the first time I take it out and really engage the front axle, I snapped both axle shafts. So I'm like, shoot. So I go out and talk to a guy, and he had a Dana 70 rear axle off of a Dodge and a Dana 60 off of a front. That's what he told me. But unfortunately, I got the axles here and I started to re-gear them to 456. I put the pinion in, I put the ring in, the carrier in. I bought an Eaton E-locker to put in this Dana 60. And when I put the locker in there and pushed it all the way over to the side, the ring and pinion would not touch. Wouldn't even come close. So I'm like, what the heck? So I watched a couple other videos on YouTube and found out, oh, I need thicker gears. So I buy the thicker gears to put in this Dana 60. Well, I get the thicker gears, put them in, and then they just barely touched. So then I got to checking everything out online and found out that there is a BOM number, build of material number, located on the long tube of the axle. I've got it painted orange right there to where the location is if anybody else wants to find it. And so I started researching that number. And I found out this is not a Dana 60 front axle. This axle is actually a Dana 61. I never knew that they ever made a 61 until I got this axle. The 61s were for the heavy-duty applications in trucks that usually would push a snowplow. So I couldn't use my Eaton E-locker. I had to go back with the original carrier, put all my gears in it, and I bought a Spartan lunchbox locker and put in this axle. So now I got a Dana 60 in the rear and a Dana 61 in the front. When building that, I wanted this thing as strong as possible. So I redid all the kingpins, put new bearings, bushings, everything like that. I got a hold of Yukon. I bought the chrome moly 35 inner, 35 outer axles. I got Yukon gears. I got the Yukon hub lockers. I put some money into this axle. So hopefully it'll never break. I'm hoping. But after spending a lot of money on this axle, so far it's doing really good. Finally got the drive shaft at the angle that I like, a transfer case mount. And so we're doing good for now. So being underneath here, this is my Dana 61 front axle. Now that I've given a brief overview of the truck, let me go in and turn the power on and turn some lights on so you can see how this thing lights up. There's my headlights. And there is my inside headlights. So yes, Creature has 4 eyes. Oh, one of them ain't working. Daggone it. Hey! Redneck fix. But you see, there's all my headlights working. They work great. I love them. And now, let me show you the spotlights that I got on to the front. There's my spotlight, so I definitely got plenty of lights when I want to go out night riding. And then there is my turn signals. And just so you can see this, when my turn signals go off, the side lights blink on turn signals also. Do my other side. And as you can see on this side, my side lights also blink. Now, I'll carry you back around to the back of the truck. And there's my back lights. Got good tail lights, center lights, and that right side's blinking. Got good license plate lights. I put doubles on there to where the cops can see them. And here's my left side turn lights. Dang, it ain't working. Helps if I turn it on. Okay, there's my left side turn signal. So yes, this truck is legal to drive on the roads. I want to have great fun with it in the next 10, 15 years, for as long as I can do this. I am getting old. Unfortunately, life goes on. There's my interior lights. But this is Creature. And I still got to show you some other lights. Almost forgot about them. Okay, first of all, I'll quit blinding you. Turn those off, turn those off, and turn that off. Now here's my front hazard lights. I have these on the front. Oh, hopefully you can see them. If not, nah, I'm sure you can now. But these things here are programmable. I can do all kind of different features with it and everything like that. And now here's my favorite one. This one, I call my wee-woo light. Wee-woo, wee-woo, wee-woo. Yes, I get a little crazy sometimes. I like having fun. Life's too short not to have fun. Now here on my driver's door, I want to point out a few things. First of all, I want to point out J&M Recycling. They've helped me out with a lot of parts for this truck. This is an old truck, really hard to find parts, but this guy here, he had a couple of J10s over there and a couple of J10s, and I was able to get parts off of them. And I want to give a shout out to my Matco dealer. He helped me out with wrenches that I used for my brake locks. And then I had to put this sticker on there. I love this sticker. My other Jeep is a Jeep. Well, this is my other Jeep. Big shout out to Offroad Design. They sold me the doubler, the 203, 205 kit to hook that up. Yukon Gear and Axle, they are great. They make great quality products. Give a shout out to the Minnesota Four-Wheel Drive Association. They put on a great event up there in troll hogging. And this sticker here is probably my most prized sticker I got right now. I actually got that from Mara from BSF Recovery when I went up there last year. Had a great time, and I consider them my family. Now one of my last stickers I want to show you is this one here. Do you believe in life after death? Mess with my wrecker and you'll find out. I've had that sticker for years. You can see it's from 1999 out of Long Beach, California. I love that sticker. And another sticker I want to point out on here. I just recently put this on. This is my QR code that goes directly to my YouTube channel. So if you see my truck out there at an event somewhere and I'm not around, come scan this code and it'll take you to my YouTube channel. Okay, now that I've given you a quick brief about Creature, let me show you my recovery gear that I have, that I keep on this truck. First thing I keep is I got me a short chain here with 2 hooks on it. Never know when that's going to come in handy. Then I keep me a little shovel on there. It's short to be able to dig mud out from tires and stuff. I got me an assortment of hard shackles. I've got 2 Apex snatch blocks. I got 2 Yankum snatch rings. And this is a tow rope from the Strap Man. He is a local vendor up there in Dresser, Wisconsin. He does all the troll hogging stuff. And I showed him some love by buying one of his tow straps. Then I got 2 recovery chains for when I got to tow people out. They got all the different types of hooks on it that you could possibly need to hook up to any kind of frame or anything. I keep a Milwaukee 1/2-inch impact and a grinder in my truck. This red box is my wheel nut kit. Got 6 different sizes for the wheel lugs and extension. I keep me a little tool kit on there from here. Just some pliers, some crescent wrenches, tape measures and stuff. I keep me another ammo box of tie downs in case somebody breaks the wheel off and I got to tow it back, and so I can strap it down to the back of my truck. I keep me a Smittybilt trail hatchet. Now this hole, that is a hole to put in to a shackle and you'd be able to break it loose if it's stuck. Then this hole is 3/4 inch hole to take out bolts or anything. And I don't keep a Yankum hitch mount. What I like is the Pintle hitch mount. It's larger, does the same thing, and I can get all my straps and stuff through there. I keep a couple of endless loop straps in there just in case, because I use these all the time at work and they work great. I got several straps in there, tree savers, got me a high vis vest, and I keep me a NoCo Boost battery jumper in there. You always see people killing their batteries out there and they need a boost or a jump start. And then here's some soft shackles that I got from the strap man up there in Wisconsin. Showed him some more love. And I got a couple of Harbor Freight soft shackles. I got some Matt's recovery rope soft shackles. I had 4 of them, but I lost one out there somewhere. Then I got some Yankum Super Loop soft shackles. I love these things. Go around a small tree or something like that. They work great. And down here on the floor, I keep me a winch extension in there. It's a whole winch cable, but I use that as my extension. And then I got a Matt's recovery Yankum rope, 7/8 kinetic rope to pull everybody out. And the last thing I keep in my truck, pair of mud boots, because here in Indiana, that's all I deal with is a lot of mud. So this is all my recovery gear. Got it all laid out. Now I got to pack it back up. But this is just a little bit of it. I also keep a bigger toolkit behind my seat to have sockets, wrenches, ratchets, all that stuff, to be able to do some minor trail repair. Some of the things in the future that I want to do for Creature is I definitely want to get a premier power welder, because there's always somebody out there that needs welding. I need to get a bigger alternator, because right now all I got is a 90 amp alternator on this truck. I'd like to get a little larger. And I also want to give a shout out to Flawed Offroad. He's a cool guy. If you don't know him, go check him out on YouTube. He does some cool stuff out there with his Jeep. But this is definitely Creature. Okay, well, I wanted to start it up so you can hear it. God, I love that tinging that them little caps do on the top of the exhaust system there. But yeah, this is a overview of Creature. One other thing that I want to get done to this truck is a Holley Sniper 2 fuel injection system on it. But unfortunately, that costs some money. And right now, I just don't have that. But yeah, this is Creature. I have been working on this truck for the last 4 years. It has taken me 4 years to get this truck to the way it is and operational. And I'm finally glad that it is, because I love driving this thing. In future, I'm going to be testing this truck out even more, doing more upgrades and everything on it, and just keep making it better and better. But on this last note, I want to say, no, I really don't have the world's largest off-road wrecker. And I definitely do not have the world's smallest off-road wrecker. What I do believe that I have here is the world's baddest off-road wrecker. So remember, if you're in Indiana or anywhere around me, if you're broke, you're stuck, or you're screwed, just remember, I pull out. Thank you for watching. I appreciate all this. and you have a great evening, and I'll see you in my next video.